I'm working on a blank piece of paper. I'm going to make a graphizer where you put poetic terminology at the top, word definition, your wording of that definition, putting it in your own words, a picture that describes that meaning or helps you to remember what that definition is, and an example of what that is to you. So, for example, I have written here my exact definition of those words, putting definition into my own words. And for me, because a metaphor compares two unlike things in which no word of comparison is used, I simply put an equal sign. So a heart equals my brain, the banana, go figure. And the example that I stated in class today was Kim Jong-un is a bag. I guess it comes from the movie The Interview, but I don't know it's for. So for each of these words, complete the same thing, and you can find examples, and the definitions are the exact ones. You simply need to own definition of the word and a picture for you that helps you remember it. These are mine. An example, your own example of what is. And this was day 1 poetry terminology. Day 2 poetry terminology was this, and euphony is our first one, where using sounds by long vowels and sounds for harsh sounds create an effect, and that is like a soft something soothing and pleasing to me sleeping. Plus example, sharp. Satire is a humorous literary art where ridicule or make fun of a mistake or a vice, which is a bad habit, in order to expose it, make people, but it's actually making it, its political are very satirical. So our lovely the GOP and my representation of a donkey Democratic Party. All of that would be the Colbert Report, the studio relations, which you can is, and that's on humorous imitation of another, and that person's really very sick version of that. So my picture was something funny and something bad. Al Yankovic, for parody, you can look up any of how it's a parody. Is a literary device, statements, or situation reality, what appears. So all I've got my banana back, they are not equal to each other. So I use The Walking Dead, or my example of teachers who is expecting their students to be the best, doing what's right, and yet they are the worst ever. And cacophony is the use of hardly used by writers, especially poets, for a particular effect. This is the opposite of symphony, to create a harsh sound, mood setter, to create the effect that they're going for, and they use a crash of the car, and it is off. And I've got actually a big whale. The ballad, the person playing guitar, telling a story, and the Ballad of the Headless Horseman from Hollow. And the lowest we've done is in the 5th grade, reviewed in. So you should be able to, a couple of things that are new for an assonance, repetition of sounds, but it's to the beginning of a word like alliteration is. You can throughout the words in a way that creates an effect. If you were doing a snake, you might have S throughout words along the way to create this. I have them being repeated in words as well. And as the opposite of that, about the repetition of repeating vowels. My example is my words like silent raindrops fell. The I sound being in the Y, the I here silent. Remembering with the assonants and consonants, they don't have to be the letters, but they are the sound letters make, repeated over and over again. All right, and that is the vocabulary for this week. I will record later what we're doing today with poem analysis and send you the other examples and to use. If you do not have a textbook, let me know and we will get one to the office for you.